Patricia Vallone with a CTV News update. It was exactly a year ago when the first U.S. COVID-19 death was reported. Today, the number has surged to 513,000. In Maryland, there are 603 new cases today. 10 residents have lost their battle to the deadly virus over the last 24 hours. That brings the total number of confirmed deaths in the state to 7,697. Well, many of Maryland's schools reopened today, nearly a year after shutting down due to the pandemic. Montgomery, Anne Arundel, Howard, and Baltimore counties, as well as Baltimore City, are bringing some students back for in-person learning. Parents can still choose to have their students attend school virtually. Meantime, Prince George's submitted a reopening plan last week detailing the return of students starting in April. Faculty will return mid-March without students to begin teaching from their classrooms. University of Maryland students living on campus head back to class today after sequestering in place for a week. Officials say infections have been contained enough to allow in-person teaching to resume. Restrictions were imposed 1 week earlier on the approximately 4,300 students living on campus and thousands of others who live nearby after a spike in COVID cases. But some College Park officials are concerned that the surge may still affect the wider community.
Most likely has spread into the community. Any spike amongst the students live in our community. So any spike amongst the students is a spike in our community. And I am concerned about that and about the impacts that has.
What kind of precautions are you having to take because of this?
We monitor in particular what's going on in the off-campus student housing. So single family properties, our city streets, making sure that as students live in our community, that they're practicing social distancing. We have a 24-hour hotline that residents can call whenever they see activity in houses and single-family rental properties or in apartment buildings, and we refer students to the Office of Student Conduct if there are violations of those restrictions.
UMD officials say the positivity rate on campus has been about 1%. In an effort to encourage more people to get vaccinated, the State Health Department is running public service announcements featuring the county executive. It's part of the state's Go Vax campaign. The PSAs feature Angela Alsobrooks urging residents to sign up for COVID vaccines.
Scientists and doctors are able to tell us that it is safe for us to take. And it is important for us to take this vaccine, not just for ourselves, but for those we love. Vaccinate to protect the people you love. Learn more at COVIDlink.MARYLAND.GOV.
According to Maryland Matters, only 3.9% of county residents have received both doses of the vaccine. Lawmakers in Annapolis are looking at legislation that could make auto insurance rates more equitable for Marylanders. Currently, auto insurance companies in Maryland can use zip codes as part of their rate-setting algorithm. The result, according to consumer advocates, is that poor residents and African Americans wind up paying higher rates. It is illegal to charge more for insurance based on race. House Bill 1251 would change the current system by expanding the number of coverage areas and capping some premiums.
What we're seeing is that people can be charged $600, $700 difference within 2 miles. And that makes no sense. The roads are the same. The road conditions are the same. The streets are about the same narrowness of width. The only difference we're seeing is that one community is more diverse, a greater number of Black and brown residents than the other community.
The bill goes before the Senate Finance Committee on Wednesday. Police are investigating a deadly pedestrian accident in Landover. A woman was struck by a vehicle around 7:30 last night at the 7200 block of Martin Luther King Highway. She has been identified as 36-year-old Tangela Lewis of Landover. Police say Lewis was not in a crosswalk at the time. Anyone with information on the incident is asked to contact police. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. We'll be back in just a moment.
I moved to Florida with literally pennies in my pocket and a prayer. I needed a new start. Dacian looks like a very typical 3-year-old until you ask him, "What's your name? How old are you?" My son has a lot of behaviors that would show as being autistic. Most kids can tolerate a variety of foods, but unfortunately for Dacian, everything has to be organic and raw. I wasn't ashamed to go to the food pantries. It's expensive to eat healthy, and nutrition is very important to Dacian's health. The healthy organic food that we receive dramatically helped his social skills. Most people would say she really doesn't have much of a life, but to me, I have everything right there next to me and my son.
I am what child hunger looks like in America. I am a 9-year-old boy who hopes a friend invites me to a sleepover so I can have dinner. I am a 15-year-old girl who goes for walks during lunch so my friends won't know I don't have anything to eat. I am a 13-year-old boy who gets into fights at school just because I'm hungry. I was created by artificial intelligence from faces of the 1 in 7 American children who struggle with hunger. Kids you pass by every day but never knew they were hungry.
Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Welcome back. The Prince George's County Office of Community Relations is urging senior citizens and others who want to get the COVID-19 vaccine but have had issues accessing the internet or utilizing technology to call the pre-registration hotline. Dial 311, then press the pound symbol. The office says its staff will help you sign up. The office is also asking residents to be patient. Appointments will be scheduled based on vaccine supply. Because of that, it may take several weeks or longer for eligible individuals to receive the vaccination. Again, dial 311, then press the pound symbol. Well, more than 40% of Marylanders over the age of 65 have received the COVID-19 vaccine, that according to Governor Larry Hogan. The state administers a little more than 35,000 shots per day. To date, Hogan says more than 1.3 million doses have been administered. Hyattsville restaurants and distilleries struggling to stay afloat can apply for a $2,000 grant. It's through the city's COVID-19 Restaurant Relief Fund, which opens today. Breweries and wineries can also apply. Businesses can use the funds for rent, utilities, and PPE. Assistant City Administrator Jim Handler says many Hyattsville restaurants have seen a decline in sales, especially with beer and alcohol.
And the off-site delivery sales have helped, but certainly to maintain a viable restaurant, you have to be able to offer those other services, and currently without seating, at least very restricted seating, it's just not generating adequate revenue for restaurants to be able to stay open.
And for more information, you can visit hyattsville.org. The Maryland General Assembly votes to expand tax credits for immigrants and low-income workers last week. Senate Bill 218 now goes to the governor for his signature. The emergency legislation would extend Maryland's earned income tax credit to include people who use individual taxpayer identification numbers. It would also include a child tax credit for people who make less than $6,000 and have dependents with disabilities under 17 years old.
There are clearly a lot of Marylanders who are really struggling financially during this pandemic. And I think that's reflected in the $1.5 billion in economic relief that the General Assembly passed a couple of weeks ago to help Maryland individuals and small businesses who are struggling right now and who just need a little bit of extra help. Unfortunately, one group that got left out of that Relief Act, though, is immigrant Marylanders, and especially mixed status families that include U.S. citizens.
Delegate Julie Palakovich Carr was the sponsor of the House version of the bill. Officers are investigating a fatal car crash that happened in Waldorf Sunday morning after 2:30. Police say a driver was traveling northbound on Crane Highway when his car left the roadway, striking a light pole, signs, and an unoccupied police car. The driver, who was ejected from the truck, was pronounced dead at the scene. The victim was 35-year-old Luis Guerrero of Temple Hills. There were no other injuries. And police have identified the victim of Saturday's fatal shooting in Temple Hills. He's 37-year-old Joseph Carney. Carney was found with gunshot wounds in a parking lot in the 2300 block of Iverson Street. He died at a local hospital shortly after the shooting. Anyone with information on the case is asked to contact police. Mark your calendars. The County Council will host a budget town hall tomorrow, March 2nd. The virtual event will take place at 5 p.m. Residents will have an opportunity to learn more about the county's current financial status. To participate in the town hall, you can visit the website on your screen. Well, Natitude is back. The Washington Nationals take to the baseball diamond for their first spring training game yesterday. They faced off against the St. Louis Cardinals. One of the highlights for the Nats was a 7th-inning double by Drew Mendoza. The Cardinals came back later to score 2 runs, and the game ended in a 2-2 tie. The Baltimore Orioles also opened their spring training yesterday. They lost to the Pirates 6-4. Well, let's get a check now on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, mostly clear with a chance of snow flurries and a low of 27 degrees. Tuesday, sunny with a high near 42 and a low of 33. Wednesday, mostly sunny skies with a high near 55 and a low around 35. And Thursday, also sunny with a daytime high near 50 and a low of 28. Now for your community calendar, the Prince George's School System's Distant Learning Parent Support Centers have extended their hours. Starting today, the centers will operate on Mondays and Wednesdays from 5 until 8 p.m. Parents can visit these locations to receive assistance with technology, navigating platforms, and other troubleshooting issues. Visitors must sign up for appointments and arrive at their designated time. Children are not allowed in the facilities. For more information, you can visit pgcps.org and search for Parents Centers. And that is your CTV News Update. Join us again tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. I'm Patricia Vallen. Have a great night.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him. He's got to come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with Turtle is a perfect day and keeps me company when I'm doing schoolwork. I like it when he jumps up on the table too. He is a veggie thief. He's an incredible companion and my best friend. Can't say that I've met anybody that doesn't love him too. When I adopted Turtle, I discovered all the things that make him unique. He's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly he's all pure love.
For the latest information on COVID-19 in Maryland, visit the State Health Department website. That's health.maryland.gov. Again, health.maryland.gov. Click the link to the COVID-19 information portal. There you'll find all the latest information about coronavirus. You'll find daily updates on cases and fatalities. Answers to questions about testing and the governor's stay-at-home order are available as well. For specific information about Prince George's, visit PrinceGeorgesCountyMD.GOV. That's PrinceGeorgesCountyMD.GOV. The site offers information about local services for residents and businesses. There's a link for COVID-19 relief donations. Also, food pantry locations are listed. And if you have any questions, call the county COVID-19 hotline at 301-883-6627. That's 301-883-6627.
Children are spending more time at home. Teachers, parents, neighbors, and friends, it's up to you to keep them safe. Now more than ever, it's important to stay connected. By phone, video chat, and social media. If you have concerns or see changes in a child, be there for them. Ask questions. Seek help. Report suspected child abuse or neglect.